5,000 yuan per bottle of beer. The barbecue man spent only 2.5 minutes for 7,000 yuan per escort. He spent all his savings of 50,000, but every time he finished enjoying himself, they would lie on the ground, falling into endless regret. Because he still owes 9 million in debt, but he only earns 9,000 yuan a month. If this keeps up, he probably won't be able to leave this mine for the rest of his life. It turned out the man's name was Kaiji, a gambler addicted to gambling. Because he owed huge debts outside, he was hunted down by creditors every day, living a life like an ant. Hiding and hiding everywhere. Meanwhile, Endo, as the casino manager, was ordered by his superiors to arrest him. Just as Keith was pondering his strategy, a familiar figure came into view. He immediately got out of the car. He called out to Keith, and upon seeing his acquaintance, Kaiser was overjoyed. At this moment, he felt as if he had grasped at a lifeline. He hoped Endo would introduce him to a gambling game to help pay off his debts. Little did he know, the lifeline in his eyes was actually just a hanging guard. After Keith got into Endo's car, he was quickly knocked out by the henchman inside. For someone like this who is addicted to poison, the scumbag Yuan Tong didn't expect him at all. Instead of paying back the money, it would be better to just sell him to the construction site. When he woke up, Keith was already in hell. He became a black slave in the mine. Every day's work is endless mining. Add to that simple meals and repetitive routines. It made Cass suddenly think about escaping, and the only hope is, it is the diligence reward established to boost the prisoner's enthusiasm. You can get a one-day outing voucher for just 500,000 yuan. When he went out to bet on horse racing or win a prize, maybe you'll have a chance to get rid of the huge debt you're carrying. But immediately after, a piece of news arrived. Like a bolt from the blue, it instantly plunged Kais into the depths of despair. Foreman, when paying monthly salaries, Kais only received a mere 90,000 belika, equivalent to 9,100 yen, or 460 RMB, just his little salary, and even play a game of goodbye. But what he didn't expect was, the workers couldn't wait to spend their wages after getting paid. When he saw the convenience store prices, he was about to explode. A bottle of beer costs 5,000 belikas, which is even more expensive than outside. Double Kaisi would never be like these self-indulgent fellows. He decided to save the money to buy a one-day outing voucher, but the more stubbornly he became, the stronger the rebound.
Fire iron dry coffee. Yakitori. Time twice.
At that moment, the squad leader came before Katsai. He immediately saw through Katsai's intention to save money. However, he said, appropriate rewards are the key to long-term persistence. So he gave Case a free can of beer. When Kai said, the moment you touch the beer, a chilling touch suddenly hits me. He couldn't wait to pick it up and drink it all in one gulp. He couldn't help but shed tears, his body nearly suffocating. At this moment, he was also released. He shook it desperately, beer in hand. Not even a single drop is wasted. At this moment, nearby, the co-workers were enjoying the aroma of barbecue. Case was absolutely envious, thinking about how much time ahead was unnecessary. Save money from the start. Unable to resist his longing, he went to the snack store and asked for a can of beer. Seeing that the opponent was already shaken, the street vendors immediately pressed the advantage and said that there is no way to drink and not eat vegetables. After hearing this, I glanced at the prices of grilled chicken and peanuts. In the end, I hesitated and said I wanted a pack of peanuts. This scene made the class monitor laugh out loud. He knew well that the silk filaments were too expensive, so he chose the cheaper peanuts. But doesn't he know that beer paired with barbecue is the perfect match? Saving money is such a thing. I'll think about it tomorrow. Occasional indulgence is also a way to relieve stress. Under the class monitor's nonsense brainwashing, in the end, the kids chose to compromise with the food offer. Not only did I buy delicious kebabs, he also added a pack of chips and a bottle of beer. Seeing Kais happily enjoying the food, in the distance, the class monitor flashed a mischievous grin. He realized his prey had already taken the bait. Young people today only know to work hard tomorrow. When you wake up, you're back to how you were before. Only those who work hard today will have tomorrow. After this round of indulgence, Case became increasingly uncontrollable. He worked hard and selflessly during the day. That night, he spent all his wages on alcohol. It wasn't until 2 days after drinking well that he lay down and began to reflect. But while reflecting, he continued to spend as usual. Finally, by the 5th day, his savings were down to 400 yuan. Seeing the time was right, the squad leader struck again. He proposed a loan plan to Case. At that time, he only needs to charge a small amount of interest. Wenting's words made her a bit hesitant. She had originally wanted to save some money. The result of buying one-day vouchers now leads to a loan. But the class monitor said it was fine not to charge interest. Then play the games you're best at.
Let's go. Let's go.
just thinking about the few hundred yuan in my hand. And for the next month of happy life, Keith finally agreed to the class monitor's proposal. Soon night fell. The gamblers sat together in a circle. The rules of the game are simple. Just throw 3 dice into the bowl. Whose suit is bigger, even if who wins, the so-called flower color. That is, when 2 of the 3 dice have the same value, the remaining one is the pattern, and the one is the smallest among the patterns. Conversely, 6 points is the largest, but other situations can also occur. When the 3 dice have different values, that means no dice were counted, but each person had 3 chances to roll the dice. If you miss 3 times, you're bound to lose. But there is another situation. When the suit appears 4 to 5 -6, you can win twice as much directly. Conversely, if you throw 123, you lose twice the amount. If it is a leopard between 2 and 6, the win is triple. If only they were all a bit of a leopard, then win 5 times the price. After playing the rules, the gambling game officially began. As usual, the class monitor was the first to start making the shredding taking 100 yuan to try the foot ran. His choice was correct. The class monitor spent 5 points in the first round. With such a big score, you can win easily. None of the followers have passed the big shot. When it was Kiss's turn, the class monitor was the one. Unexpectedly, Kaiji actually made the largest suit 456, but since he only bet 100 pieces, even with double wins, you only win 200. However, Kaiji did not feel that. Unfortunately, this small amount of money doesn't really matter whether you win or not. The focus of dice games is a showdown between the player and the dealer. As long as you find a way to win as a dealer, then winning money would be a piece of cake, but his luck was often upside down. Plus, Kaiji always bet only 100 yuan to win. It actually means losing money. For a moment, he couldn't see the situation clearly. Moreover, the ideal state of gambling is to win when you bet on small times and lose when you lose. In this way, he completely lost the meaning of gambling. So after playing for 40 minutes, Keith decided it was time to take a big gamble. At this moment, it was Kaiji's turn to act as the dealer. He decisively gave Zhuanglan to the newly arrived. 3 goods, 3 goods. He originally wanted to pass it to the next public friend, but after hearing others' mockery, full of youthful vigor, he decided to be the dealer once, leaving the others behind as usual. But this time, Kaiji put up 3,000 yuan, which really infuriated somehow. This was clearly bullying a newbie like him. Then Kaz stopped caring about personal matters to win. He could stop at nothing, and sure enough, his idea was correct. 3. Good. Really did the smallest bit of a vote. In this situation, no matter how many points the player bets, they basically win. And indeed, the 7 players before Kai so easily won money. Now only the one with a 3,000 deposit remains, Kai's. He thought this victory was certain, but after he rolled the dice for the first time, surprisingly, he didn't order anything. Unwilling to give up, he made a second one, but in the end, the excitement of seeing this scene still didn't leave me numb. Yet, at such a critical moment, he couldn't make a point, so he pinned his hopes on the third time. However, this time, the points surprised everyone. He actually managed to make a 1-2 -3. That was twice as bad. Such a dramatic comeback. You can only see it on TV. But unexpectedly, it happened to Keith. He was furious and threw the money on the ground. Watching Sanhao happily take it into his pocket, Keith's anger reached its peak, but this feeling of blood flowing backward made him realize this was the real gambling.
Send out! Send out! Send out!
Next, let's analyze the person who is the class monitor. Although the mind here looks like just a cage, but it was a terrifying mental prison. Repeating meaningless labor every day is wearing down people's will. And the class monitor is the most skilled hunter in this hell. His terrifying nature lies in his insight into human nature. He did not appear as a fierce and intimidating overseer. Instead, he maintains the posture of a big brother and gets along harmoniously with his colleagues. He told Case that proper rewards are the key to long-term persistence. This sentence is highly misleading because it sounds absolutely right. But in the specific environment of a mining farm, the purpose was to undermine the other party's desire to save money. He immediately spotted Case, a hopeful outlier. With free beer, break the keys. He lets Kaiji personally experience the temptation of pleasure. This is far more direct than simple preaching. When Kaiji is shopping, he continued to use his linguistic art to amplify and open up his inner desires and provide them with depraved behavior guidelines. When this mountain is exhausted and the water is exhausted, he rolled out loans and gamblers, ready to complete the final harvest. This chain of agents is the most precise blow to gamblers like Kai's. And the squad leader's core task in the mine is not to abuse workers. Instead, they make sure no one can truly build hope of leaving. By making workers addicted to cheap pleasure and debt, this effectively maintains the stable operation of the mining farm. A mischievous smile often appeared on his face. It shows that he is fully aware of what he is doing and took pleasure in this, enjoying this sense of power to manipulate people's hearts.